Right, so Liverpool nil, Manchester United nil, full time at Anfield in the Premier League title showdown, and of course this point does leave Manchester United 3 points top of the table, 3 points still ahead of Liverpool, and overall I think the winners of this game are Manchester City, because they do go and play Crystal Palace straight after this, and if they do win that, they will be, right in contention with these two teams, and yeah, overall it was a 0-0 draw, but to be honest, it wasn't a typical 0-0 draw we do see in the Premier League, because I'm actually very surprised that one of these teams didn't take this game. I thought that they had a lot of chances each. I think both goalkeepers were forced into some very good saves, in particular Alisson, who made some very good saves from the likes of Pogba, Fernandes, etc. And yeah, I'm going to be trying to analyse this game, even though there wasn't much to analyse, but at the same time, there probably is a lot, because as I said, even though it was a 0-0 draw, there is still a lot to look at in this game, and it was a very interesting spectacle overall, so yeah, let's get into it. Now, first and foremost, when I saw the lineups, I thought that it was a bit surprising, if I'm honest, because I think that obviously Liverpool went with Xherdan Shaqiri, which was a bit of a gamble, but I think that actually paid off in the end, and I think made definite sense, because United, of course, were going to play that pivot in midfield of Fred and Scott McTominay to protect the back four of Manchester United, so it made sense for Liverpool to have that extra creative player in there. And yeah, I think Shaqiri was actually one of Liverpool's brightest players today. He was getting in the pockets of spaces, getting in the half spaces, trying to create chances. He was there and thereabouts, and yeah, overall I thought he was actually very, very good. In terms of United, the main shock for me was the fact that Eric Bailly was dropped today, and even though Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire were, okay to a certain extent today, I was very surprised that Eric Bailly didn't play today, because I purely believe that he is Manchester United's best centre-back, especially at this moment in time, because Maguire and Lindelof, we both know they have been mistaken and they're not that consistent, and yeah, overall I feel like if he was fully fit, which of course he might not be, he could have picked up a knock or something in training, we don't know, but if he was fully fit, I'm really surprised he didn't start alongside Harry Maguire today in Manchester United's centre-back role. Which in terms of the players that actually stood out, I think that THIAGO was my man of the match in that Liverpool midfield. I thought he absolutely ran the show once again, like he usually does when he does start for Liverpool. I thought he was getting on the ball, he was, creating chances for Liverpool, driving them forward. I think he's probably the ultimate deep line playmaker, because not only is he very good on the ball, but he has a very good mentality, he has a warrior's attitude, and off the ball offers you a lot as well. And yeah, I just think that he was my man of the match, because he was controlling the game, he literally had the game at his fingertips, and yeah, my man of the match for definite. And to be honest, I just think both sides, I think it was actually, really like a basketball match, if I'm honest, because if you actually go back and watch that game in its entirety, I think it was, United attack, Liverpool attack, United attack, Liverpool attack, both sides were really going for it, which, you can't really complain about. It was just that, the quality and the overall conviction in the final third from both teams was really lacking, and neither team really managed to create some clear-cut opportunities, and even though there was one or two here and there, they weren't really able to finish them off. And yeah, overall I think both sides will be, relatively content with the point, because yeah, as I said, Liverpool, I think they'll be more confident that they'll be able to beat the smaller teams in the league than Manchester United over the course of the season, and of course United will be over the moon with a draw, because going to Anfield 3 points ahead of Liverpool, and taking away a draw and a clean sheet as well, I think is absolutely massively positive for them. And to be honest, I think United actually looked like the more likely team to score, especially with that chance in the last 5 minutes with Paul Pogba, who forced Alisson into a very good save. And yeah, Alisson really made some very good saves, in particular in the second half, even though United probably had less possession, and I think that United's game plan worked absolutely brilliantly, because of course, as we all probably knew at this stage, that United's plan was to obviously soak up the pressure and catch Liverpool on the break, which they did do quite a few times, but they did get a lot of offsides in doing so, because I think it was either the final ball was played way too late, or the runner was made way too early, and yeah, United did get a lot of offsides, especially in the first half. But yeah, I really think Alisson actually kept them in the game, Liverpool, and to be honest, I think both sets of defenders really were actually really solid today, because of course they did both get clean sheets, and yeah, overall I think both defences really restricted the strikers to minimal chances and minimal shots on target. In terms of the standout performers for Manchester United, I actually think Luke Shaw had a very good game in left back. He was getting forward really well, trying to create chances going forward on the overlap of I think Bruno Fernandes or Marcus Rashford or whoever was on that side when he made the overlap. He was defending really well as well. I think he did a very good job of Mo Salah, trying to obviously minimalise his threat in the game as well, which is not an easy task to do, because as we know, Mo Salah is a world-class player. I think Roberto Firmino was very poor for Liverpool. He had a few good chances here and there in the match that he probably should have done better with, and overall I think he didn't really get in the game as much as he would have liked to. And yeah, that's why I just simply think that it's a really hard match for me to analyse, because it was a bit of a basketball game. It was pretty end-to-end, and I don't think you could ask for more of a spectacle in terms of that, but overall I think that there was very minimal clear-cut chances created, and neither team really took advantage of any of the possession they had in the final third of the pitch. But yeah, it really does open the title race wide open, because as I said, Manchester United now continue their form and continue to be 3 points clear at the top of the table, and for Liverpool now, they are still 3 points behind Manchester United, of course, in that title race, and they have now gone 4 games without a win, which is desperately worrying for them, but they do play Burnley at home on Thursday night. I really do expect them to just go ham against Burnley and put 3 or 4 past them, just out of sheer anger, if I'm honest. They really need to beat Burnley, or else, they're really really in trouble in terms of the title race. And of course, missing players like Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez, etc. is obviously going to be a massive miss for them. And to be honest, I thought that Jordan Henderson and Fabinho were actually very good tonight. I think they dealt with the United attack very well for most parts of the game, and I really didn't expect it, if I'm honest, because I think we saw in that 1-0 loss to Southampton that Liverpool were involved in last Monday night, that Henderson in particular, I think Fabinho is actually very good in centre-back, and I think he actually does look like a natural in that position, so I don't have any problems with that. But Henderson was really caught out against Southampton in that game that he was playing centre-back, of course, and I'd say his defensive awareness was probably at fault for the goal that Southampton did score. But yeah, overall I thought the two of them handled the front three of Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes, Martial and Rashford, very well for most parts of the game. I thought that Fred and Scott McTominay were very good as well in anchoring the midfield, and I really do like them. I think they're very underrated as a midfield duo because they both have energy, they're both very good readers of the game when they want to be, they're both absolute workhorses, and both of them put in a massive shift. They put in 100% every single time. And yeah, Paul Pogba I think was okay here and there today as well. I just want to see more from Paul Pogba in terms of getting on the ball, because I just don't think we see enough of him over 90 minutes whatsoever for Manchester United. But I think when he got the ball today, he was very promising, trying to create something. He's very good in terms of holding up the ball, waiting for runners and then picking out a pass when he wants to be. But if he showed that same determination to get on the ball for 90 minutes every single game, he'd be one of the best players in the world. I think nobody would argue with that. Actually, one thing I want to go into detail on as well is I actually think Liverpool were very unlucky at the very end of the first half, because there is a clip going around on Twitter, and there's a lot of uproar about it on social media after this game, especially at half time, that the referee actually blew the whistle when Liverpool were through on goal with Sadio Mane, which I think is absolutely laughable, because of course they said on half time on Sky Sports that the rule is actually with injury time. Say there was 1 minute played of injury time, and they actually said that the minute is actually the minimum that can be played, and the referee blew it up 4 seconds or something before the actual minute had been played. And I think it was Shaqiri that had played the ball over the top to Mane, who was probably going to be through on goal. And Sadio Mane, we know in that position, can be very dangerous, and it is probably likely that he would have scored. So I think Liverpool can feel very hard done by in that department, because who knows, it could have been a completely different game. And I said after like 20 or 30 minutes that this game really did need a goal to open it up, because most of these big games now, they really just are ending 0-0. I mean, that's definitely not the first time and definitely not the last time that a big game between two top 6 teams will end goalless, because both teams are just really conservative. They're absolutely petrified to concede a goal. But yeah, as I said multiple times in this video, I don't think that was necessarily the case tonight, because I think both teams actually did try and have a go at each other for most of the game. But yeah, I think that is where we're going to end this video now, because I don't think there's much else I can say on this matter, because of course there's no goals to talk about. There's nothing really that changes in terms of the Premier League title race or the Premier League table in general. So yeah, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like. 15 to 20 likes as per usual would be massively appreciated by myself, and also if you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be massively appreciated, because we are now looking to hit 1,300 subscribers as soon as we possibly can. So if you could subscribe to the channel, it costs you absolutely nothing and makes my day, so it is very much a win-win situation. And I'll see you guys in my next video. See ya.